Neither the party of French President Emmanuel Macron or far-right leader Marine Le Pen fared well in the first round of French regional elections, which were held on Sunday. The polls, which saw a high percentage of people abstain from voting, come less than a year before the two are likely to face each other in a presidential election. Earlier, James Shields, Professor of French Politics at the University of Warwick, ran through the winners and losers.
One of the keys to this first round of voting has been the extraordinarily high abstention rate. And that abstention rate appears to have affected Le Pen's party most of all, and Macron's next. Something like 73%, according to a recent poll just out, of Le Pen's voters from 2017 didn't vote yesterday. So almost 3/4 of Le Pen's support base from 4 years ago didn't turn up yesterday. 60% of Macron's are estimated not to have turned up yesterday. So they've been hardest hit by this record abstention rate.
So why are people so disengaged, do you think?
I think there are several reasons. One, there's a long-term trend in France of voters disengaging from traditional politics, a trend that goes back years and even decades, in fact. Then there's the timing of these elections, with France just emerging from COVID restrictions. And there's the nature of the elections too. These elections lack a strong connection with voters. They have many unknown candidates. They're very unlike, say, the very local elections that France also has, the municipal, the town elections and the cantonal small-scale elections. They're very unlike those municipal elections. And they're unlike the very personal election, that is the presidential election. So at the top you have a highly personalised election, the president for the presidency. At the bottom you have a very local election in the municipalities, and in between are these awkward layers of regional and departmental. And a lot of French people aren't even very clear what these levels of governance do.
And you mentioned the presidential elections. These polls perhaps especially significant this time around because they're unusually close to those presidential elections taking place next year.
Yes, they are unusually close. There's never been a regional election as close to a presidential election. And this has quite an effect because it makes an essentially local election. It gives it a national dimension. First, as a referendum on the Macron presidency. Second, as a barometer of the public mood after more than a year of COVID crisis. And third, I think, as an opportunity for some presidential hopefuls to strengthen their regional base as a launch pad for a presidential bid next year. As polling stands, Macron and Le Pen look set to rerun their contest of 2017. But there are some big figures in regional politics who, with a strong performance now, could put themselves in the frame as presidential candidates. Le Pen's party has never come to power in any region. It has governed a number of towns only. Far from coming first in 6 regions, as had been predicted, the RN, her party, is marginally ahead in just 1. That's the southern Provençal Côte d'Azur. Now, were it to win that region, that would give Le Pen and her party a region of 5 million inhabitants to govern with a budget of several billion euros. Conversely, if her party fails to take the region next weekend, it will be seen as failure and a real setback to her presidential prospects.